go. What's up, fight fans? Welcome to another edition of Split Decision MMA, your weekly MMA podcast, brought to you out of the 209.
209. What?
Bringing you all the news, all the rumors, all the things that we find on the forums to talk about. We got fights that we recap, fights that we preview.
Some regional fights this week.
Some regional fights that you actually went to.
Yeah, got some blood all over my
blood
stuff.
splatter all over your notes.
It's bad.
That's fantastic.
It was awesome.
Anyway, we bring this to you once a week. Get you caught up so you can sound like a semi-smart guy at the bar when you're talking about this shit.
Yeah.
Right? Semi.
Yeah.
At least feel like
I would
you know
trust
what you're
us. I would trust us like that much.
75% of the time.
Yeah.
I'll give it 75.
75% of the time, we're right all the time.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Let's get into the start of the news. A little bit of a sad story to start off with.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to...
Yeah, I don't want to show off the shirt yet.
A little bit of sad story. Katy Collins, former LFA, Bellator, and Invicta fighter, has passed away. She was only 32 years old. She suffered complications due to a brain aneurysm.
Yeah, and she hadn't even fought recently. She was just training.
Yeah. This happened last Friday, I believe. There is a GoFundMe out there. You can go to gofundme.com/F/Katy Collins medical expenses to help with medical, all the payments that are obviously due that are there, and also her funeral costs to help out her family. Make sure you check that out. Again, very, very sad to hear Katy Collins has passed away.
Yeah, and she was Bellator,
Invicta.
She was all over the place.
LFA, I think, was the last one she had fought in.
It's wild.
Yeah, pretty crazy, especially being so young. But let's move on to some little happier news after we get through that. We get a little more upbeat here. Here we go. We got Brian Ortega, T-City, taking on the Korean zombie Chang Sung Jung.
This is going to be wild.
I'm excited for this fight.
This is going to be a wild fight.
This is a fight that both of them have been calling for a long time. They've talked about it in the past, very, very respectfully, of course. But just this is also going to be going down in South Korea. So this is going to be the headlining of a South Korean card, and obviously Chang Sung Jung is going to be.
So this is going to be Mexico against Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this fight, man. I'm excited for this fight. It's going to be good for both fighters, especially coming up. And obviously you're going to have Korean Zombie's hometown crowd cheering him on.
Do you think that Ortega can stand with him, or is he going to try to submit him?
I mean, you can't say that the Korean Zombie's submission game is any slouch. He was the first guy, first guy to get a twister submission in the UFC.
But what I'm saying is,
mind you, he did it against Leonard Garcia, who does not really have the best ground game nor really striking anyway. But I think T-City has a better chance on the ground than he does standing. That's my personal opinion. I think
even with the quick kicks, but I mean, yeah, the Zombie's kicks are pretty. I mean, it's so hard.
He's pretty aggressive, man. He seems that he can take the heat, and he can just keep coming forward. That's why they call him the Zombie, is he can just keep going forward. So
and take the beating.
So I think it's going to be very, very close fight.
Do you think it comes down to who can take more damage?
I really do. I think it's who's going to be able to. I mean, they always say this, but I really do believe it's going to be who can impose their will, who can take the damage, and who can keep pushing forward. Make the other guy kind of collapse.
Yeah, because since Zombie's come back, he's kind of been on a tear.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty good. I think. Let's see if we can look up his record here.
Will they have it as Korean Zombie?
They do. If you just type in Korean Zombie, it'll come right up.
It comes up on Wiki.
Everyone knows. He lost that one to Yair. That was the crazy elbow from behind, though.
Right.
Like, I thought.
I think he was ahead.
He was winning that fight.
He was winning that fight.
That was a 5-round fight. I think going into it, he was going.
Yeah.
Man.
Two things you got to watch out from Yair is the elbow and the eye poke.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But having him come back, he beat Dennis Bermudez and Renato Moiciano. So. It's gonna be a banger, man. I'm excited for that fight. Also, we have Daniel Cormier coming out and talking that the only fight left for him in his entire career will be a rematch with Stipe Miocic. He says that nobody else matters. He says, I have to fight this guy again. My intention is to fight him right away and get my hand raised. Win or lose, I'm not fighting again. This will be the only time I step foot in the octagon. The next one will be my last one, and it has to be Stipe. No one else matters. Are you okay with that? Do you think DC needs to fight anybody else? Do you think he needs the rematch?
I don't think DC needs to fight at all. If he wanted to just go home and take his ball right now, I wouldn't be mad at him.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of
be
people...
Be the commentator, be the guy, that's the analyst and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and the big thing about, like, he's saying he wants more time with his family. What are you going to tell him? That family shit's bullshit. Yeah, there's nobody's going to say that. I mean, he's came into the sport. He showed what he can do, what he can't do. The one thing he can't do, beat John Jones. But well, asterisk. You know, I don't even know why... Other than to try to leave with the belt, I don't know why. Because he already told us he wasn't going to. But now here he is fighting again after his birthday, like he told us he wasn't going to.
I mean, he got the first win, he got the loss. I think maybe just in his mind he needs to close the door, win or lose, like you said. Right. You know, yes, I know that I'm better than this guy, or you know what, that guy's got my number. And
still, so when did today's Friday? So Wednesday, I'm still talking, and people are still like, why didn't he wrestle him down? So, I mean, you know what I mean? So, still Wednesday of this week, someone's asking me, why didn't he just wrestle him down?
Yeah.
You know? So, obviously, even though he's lost, I don't think he's lost any cred with the fans or anybody else.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Because, like you say, he's got the commentating gig. He's got multiple. We know he does the local wrestling or regional wrestling.
Regional wrestling. He's
with
also
the kids.
He's got the analyst show for ESPN.
Right. I mean, so I can't.
He's doing well.
Yeah, he's not coming back to fight for the money.
Stipe is out until next year.
I like how you said it earlier. Stipe's out for a year.
For a year.
For
the year of 2019.
Maybe 3 months. 4 months.
4 months, yeah. He says that he's still having issues with his retina due to the accidental eye poke from that second fight. But he said when he can see out of both, he will fight. But as of right now, he is going to be out until that injury goes away. So,
I don't know where I've been, but literally this week is the first I've heard of the retinal thing.
Of the retinal thing?
Did you know about it?
Well, yeah, they mentioned it that we have to wait for Stipe to heal up. He has an eye issue, but that's all it was. Yeah, I thought it was just. Yeah, he got hit in the eye.
Yeah, I didn't realize
it would be. I didn't think it was this serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't think it was this serious.
Okay, so I'm glad you didn't know either.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
Makes me feel a lot better.
I didn't think it was this bad. We knew that he had an eye injury, but I didn't think it was this bad. Do you think Stipe needs this fight? Does he need a third fight with DC to like stamp his career?
I think if he wants to say. Yeah, I think if DC is down for this fight, then he has to take.
He should take it.
Yeah, because DC eventually gave him his fight.
True.
You know
after a little him and Han and fishing that Lesnar
exactly.
fish.
I was gonna say, as much as he got to be quicker than that. But eventually, he did give Stipe his rematch.
Yeah,
he lost his belt to him, so they're 1-1.
Why not?
If DC wants that fight, I feel Stipe's got to.
Is there a trilogy out there that you feel was warranted? Is there a trilogy out there that you're like, man, all three fights were great? I always feel like the third fight sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's just my opinion.
Right.
I want somebody in the comments there on Facebook, if you guys are watching, and if you've been a long-time MMA fan or even a new MMA fan, can you think of a trilogy fight that was like every fight was fucking awesome? Because I really can't. You look at...
usually in a trilogy, every fight is a cookie cutter of the fight before.
Yeah.
So Stevens, Woodley. Oh, we promise this next fight's not going to be...
But there was only two.
No, that's what I'm saying, though.
Okay.
They say, well, the next fight is not going to be anything like the first fight. And literally, it's a cookie cutter of the first fight. Even the fucking Conor Diaz second fight.
Uh-huh.
It's the same fight. I mean, Conor doesn't get submitted, but I mean, it's pretty much the same style of fight that's going down.
Yeah.
You know,
so I'm looking, I went over to Tapology, and we got some trilogies here. You got Edgar versus Maynard.
Boring.
3. You got Liddell versus Couture. 3.
The second fight was good, though.
The first and second, both fights were good. I just didn't think the third one, I was just like, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, we're going with this again. You got Vanderlei Silva against Quentin Jackson.
All three fights exactly the same.
You got, Quentin actually won the third one.
Okay.
And then the fourth one. We still needed that one. St. Pierre Hughes.
I can't say that I've seen all three of those fights.
All right. Hughes versus Penn.
Can't say I've seen all three of those fights. Again, I came in late.
Fedor Nogueira.
Yeah.
Vanderlei Silva Sakuraba. Ortiz Shamrock. Yeah, Sylvia Arlovsky was definitely fucking awful.
It just got worse, right?
Yeah, those fights just got worse.
Each time they met progression was getting worse.
Give us your best trilogy down there in the comments.
Just throw it in there.
Moving on from there, we got BJ Penn. We've talked about this now for the past 2 weeks, I think. BJ Penn has officially been cut by the UFC. Not just Dana talking to TMZ, not just forum rumors, not just stuff on Twitter.
But he's really
This
released.
is official. Per Dana White, the UFC has released BJ Penn and said that he is no longer going to be fighting for the UFC. Obviously, we have a bunch of videos that were going online of him street fighting civilians, street fighting security guards, street fighting people in the bar. We also got his former partner is filing a restraining order against him last year for physical abuse. Do you think BJ Penn will fight anywhere else? I mean, there's Ryzen, there's One, there's Bellator.
Somebody was already putting pictures of him and Coker hanging out. I don't know if they're real or not, and I don't know if Coker would sign him. I don't think anybody's doing BJ Penn a favor at this point.
Letting him fight.
And again, I'm not saying that he should never ever fight again.
I should. I'll say it.
But let's give him some time to work out whatever he's going on.
Personal situation.
Because obviously there's something going on.
Yeah, there's definitely something.
Right? Because we don't want him to end up like leaving. No, not leaving. Who's the one that was naked in the church?
Mayhem
Miller. Yeah, we don't want.
He recently popped back up on Twitter. I think somewhere.
He's all cleaned up. I guess
he's apologizing and going through this whole thing.
But you got to stay clean though.
Yeah.
How long can you do that? The longer you do it, the better it is. But again, that's not what I want to see happen to BJ Penn.
Yeah.
Because BJ Penn has so much more going on. You know, he has so many.
He was a good ambassador for the sport, man.
He has so many people. He has so many people on the island too that
support him.
Win,
lose, or draw, man.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing I think Mayhem Miller lacked is he had a lot of cronies that wanted to be around, but I don't think he had the true support of people that wanted to see him do good.
I might agree with that. Yeah. Right. If you're scrolling on Instagram, you follow a lot of fighters. You got to see Jessica Andrade got her black belt in jiu-jitsu. Very, very cool for her. Make sure you check that out. What else do we got going on? Brave Combat Federation. We haven't talked much about Brave. I think we've talked about it maybe once or twice. It's a pretty big growing organization that's only started in 2016 in the Middle East. I believe it's in Saudi Arabia.
But it's like they have unlimited funds, though.
They do have a lot of funds. They've
been doing events, a lot of capital for
events
this event.
In Brazil, Abu Dhabi. They're just kind of all over, and they've done some really good things. One of the things that they are bringing up is they're going to have an open weight tournament, and I think that's very cool. That's something that Pride and Dream used to do back in the day. I like the open weight. That means no weight class. Anybody can come and compete, throw their hat in. Usually they get guys, though, I would say in the 170 to heavyweight range. I know that's
right.
You know, you're not.
You're still going to have.
You're not getting a Demetrius Johnson going up against a Fedor or anything like that.
But I bet you they will have a couple guys that are close to 3 bills.
I think there's going to be a couple
3 bills,
155 to 170 guys going up against some guys that are in the 260 range.
260.
You know, it's going to be interesting, but I do like it. And their new belt is going to be 14 pounds.
Of solid gold?
Solid gold just for this event, which is pretty crazy. Again,
I got to find somebody's got to have the solid gold dancers. We need to have them go across the bottom whenever we say that.
1 Century was supposed to be taking up, going down in one championship. Eddie Alvarez is now being pulled off that card due to an injury.
But the card is still going, right?
Card is still going on, but Eddie Alvarez will not be on that card. He did put up something on Instagram, I believe, and Twitter today talking about obviously just sad that he has to disappoint his fans. I believe he has a hand injury. So Eddie Alvarez will not be fighting at the next 1 card. If you were looking forward to that, you're going to have to wait to see Eddie Alvarez get back into the...
But if you can, still find...
watch the fight.
Even if you don't watch it in live time, you need to get used to one and how they do things and the fighter that's in their promotion.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys that are doing really, really well. Let's see if I can find the next event here. Championship events right there. Boom. We have an event October 13th. That's the one that he was supposed to be on. That's their 100th show.
So that's 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks from now. Yeah, it's going to be in Tokyo.
3 weeks. 3 weeks. 2 weeks from now will be
Tokyo,
UFC
Japan.
43.
We will talk about that. That is going to be their on the line. We have the one women's atomweight championship, the flyweight Grand Prix
Adam,
final.
is that 105?
Yep.
Wow.
Flyweight Grand Prix final featuring
like two
Demetrius
skeletons
Johnson
battling it out.
and the lightweight Grand Prix as well as some Muay Thai bouts. Yeah, that's going to be pretty historic for them. Let's get into the recaps. We had UFC Mexico happen last weekend. That is UFC Mexico City, UFC Rodriguez versus Stevens, UFC Fight Night 159, UFC on ESPN Plus 17. One event happened last week.
Or also known as UFC Goal!
I think it was more UFC Let's Throw Trash.
Oh, they didn't until they felt that they were disrespected.
No, they were doing it the whole time.
Were they?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because I thought Esparza didn't. Oh, we'll talk about
Yeah,
it.
she got trash thrown too.
But I thought that was after they'd been disrespected.
By who? By her?
No, because they only got 15 seconds of their main fight.
No, she was the fight before.
Oh, they threw stuff at her then?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
At least
that.
that's what I saw. I
Okay.
mean, maybe I just got it out of my mind. Anyway,
let's go.
Yeah, we'll go with Claudio Purillas gets the win over Marcos Rosa Marino. We got Betch Correa gets the win over Sahara Eubanks.
That butt, though.
Man, she put on a show. I'll give it to her.
That
she
butt,
definitely needed. Paul Craig gets the win over Vinicus Moreira. Sergio Pettis over Tyson Nam.
He looked, as far as this is probably the best he's looked.
Best baby Pettis you've seen?
Best baby Pettis I've seen in a good 4 or 5 fights.
I will agree with that for sure.
I mean, the score, look at that, 30-27.
Yeah, pretty much dominated.
Yeah.
Angela Hill gets the win over Arlene
I didn't see
Carlosi.
anything crazy on her weigh-in.
No, I didn't
No
either.
costume or anything? Maybe Mexico was like, nope.
No, we don't understand that.
Yeah.
No humor.
We don't get it.
Kyle Nelson.
We'll throw something at you.
Kyle Nelson over Paulo Reyes and Jose Alberto Quinones over Carlos Huichen. Moving on to your main card there, you got Steven Peterson over Martin Bravo. Spinning back fist, man.
Crazy spinning back fist. It was actually like a double, right?
Yeah.
They both threw the back fist?
I think they both, and just she landed first.
Yeah.
Irene Aldana over Vanessa Mello. Brandon Marino against Askarov with the win.
Could have gone either way.
Obviously, that's why we had a split decision.
I still don't see
split decision. Draw. Split decision. Draw. You don't think anybody should have won?
No. My thing is, how does one guy see it 30-27?
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. Everybody else is at 28-28 or 28-29.
And one guy's 30-27.
This guy had it 30. Dude, nobody even gave him a 30. Everybody else said he definitely lost.
Right.
3 rounds. Not by much, but he lost. How did you see that he won all 3 rounds?
Right.
10-9. Like, that's what? Yeah. And then you got Carla Esparza gets the win over Alexa Grasso. Man, she was in that armbar deep.
Right.
She was able to escape.
Okay, so
that's some perseverance.
It looked like it, but she didn't have her hand locked. So she was swiveling her arm, which lets you bend just a little bit.
Okay.
Which is, I had a fighter explain it to me because I was like, God, that looks bad because we're watching it.
It looked hyperextended.
Yeah, it looked hyperextended. And then he was like, no. He's like, look, her hand's free so she can twist her arm, which gives her just enough.
Just enough to not get
broken.
broken.
And as he was explaining it to me, she did. She worked in, she got her arm bent, and she got out of it.
Very good.
Yeah.
And
I would have thrown up.
Yeah.
Just to see my own arm like that.
Be like all back like this, and you're like, no, it doesn't. And Yair Rodriguez has a no contest with Jeremy Stevens, an accidental eye poke 15 seconds into the round. Did you see the eye poke?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yair Rodriguez says, no, I kicked him in the face, and he couldn't continue, so he said I poked him in the eye.
No, the poke is there. The poke happens.
The pokes happens.
My question to you is, do these gloves that we've been waiting for,
the curved gloves,
does that make a difference? Do you think that makes a difference?
The curved gloves?
Just a glove that covers the fingertip, albeit a piece of...
Is it the fingertip? Like, how far down does it come?
Well, from what I understand...
is it going to be from, like, first knuckle all the way to, like, top knuckle? Is that how the gloves cover? I thought they do now. We have a glove right here, right?
No. But it's also going to have something in it that covers the nail.
What set of glove is this? Let's see. I don't think this is an official glove. This is a sparring glove.
But it's also going to have a piece of material that covers the fingertip, I thought.
What?
Yeah.
That seems a little crazy.
Because I guess the big thing is your fingernail. Even if your fingernails are cut.
Most gloves are going to be like that, right? You're going to have. So I'm just wondering, do they come further down?
No, I'm thinking it's almost like, I don't want to say a wetsuit material because that would be too thick. But it's going to be something to where even if you push your nail into somebody's skin, it can't cut them or scratch them. Because I guess that's the big thing with his eye, right?
I mean, he got poked in the eye. Like, regardless if it's covered or not, if I poke you, like, you want me to cover it with a sock, I can poke you in the eye. It may not cut your retina, but I'm still going to poke you in the eye.
But I think you could come back from a socked poked eye versus a fingernail.
How far is the sock going in the eye, though? I mean, we've seen some fights where it's like,
the whole finger disappears.
You're going behind the eyeball there. That's a little much. I mean, I thought at one point they were creating gloves that had curves to them, which like forced hands kind of like this, so that you can't straighten them out all the way.
But again, that's what's keeping this glove thing from happening. There's so many different ideas, you know.
They got to come up with something. But I mean, again, Yair Rodriguez says that he felt that Jeremy Stephens was looking for a way out, and that's why he got out of the fight.
I don't know.
Jeremy Stephens was like, bro, I got stopped by medical. I told them I could not see. I went to the back. I got stopped by medical. I went to the hospital. You know
but the problem with that, too, is when the doctor kept telling him, he's like, can you open your eye? And, like, he's just going, you know, could he not? Oh, I mean.
Maybe not.
But even when your eyes hurt, you could open your eye.
I don't know. How many times do they have to open it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the doctor wouldn't do that. That's the other thing. So
I don't know. The Mexican fans were not happy with the situation. They began raining down bottles of beer.
Everything. I thought I saw a small child get thrown.
Trash. All kinds of stuff being thrown in the ring. Peppering Jeremy Stephens. Basically. Do you think it's a little much for the fans to be doing that kind of shit? Little disrespectful.
I think it's a little much, but do I expect it from Mexico and Brazil? Yeah. Well, I mean, listen to stuff that they were yelling at the fighters when they were leaving, like Colby Covington, what they were screaming at him.
But that's Colby Covington.
No, I understand that, but
you're gonna die. That chance been going on forever.
I'm gonna kill you and rape you.
That chance been going on forever, especially in Brazil.
When they say it in Portuguese, it sounds a lot sexier.
Yeah. Jeremy Stephens says he wants to run it back. He goes, let's make this happen again. You know what I mean? They went back and forth on Twitter. They went back and forth on Instagram. They went back and forth. Apparently, there's video footage of them in a hallway somewhere, and Jeremy Stephens shoved Yair as they yelled at each other and went separate ways.
See, now, here's my thought is your fight got stopped because you couldn't continue.
Yep.
From this point to your next fight, keep your mouth shut.
Yep.
And get to the next fight.
But Jeremy Stephens is saying is like, look, man, I got poked in the eye. Let's just run it back. Let's fight.
And that's what he should continue saying. And he shouldn't fight back, and he shouldn't respond on Twitter, and he shouldn't do anything. He should keep his mouth shut.
Yair says, oh, no, you never get poked. The poke wasn't real. You just quit. You just quit. You just quit.
Right.
I think if Yair thinks that, his big thing is, well, Jeremy Stephens is one behind me on the rankings. This fight doesn't do anything for me. Well, then why'd you take it to begin with?
Right.
So you can't say, well, now that I got a no contest, I definitely shouldn't take it. No, dude, in my opinion, if it got stopped on a no contest, run it back, finish the fight how you said you were going to, and then you don't have to talk anymore.
The thing that stops me from completely being on Stephens' side is we've seen multiple fighters. Lawler's the one most. His fucking lip is split open like a freaking lobster claw.
That was great.
No, I know. And the doctor says, I don't believe that you should continue. Can you continue?
Yeah.
And he says yes, and he continues to fight.
But
does that I don't know if that happens with Stephens. At any point, does the doctor ask him, do you feel like you can continue the fight?
But your lip and your eye are two different things.
Well, yeah, so is your butthole.
You could be like Sakuraba, and my ear could be falling off, and I could be like, yeah, I could fight. But if I can't see, that is way different than anything else falling.
How many fights did Bisping have where he's looking a total different direction than the person he's fighting?
That's not my fault. He was born that way. I mean, not really. He got a detached retina. It's been like that. But you know what I mean? Like, I think the eye is completely different. If you can't see, stop the fight.
We got a guy who fights with one hand.
True.
You can't fight with one eye?
No.
You know how many famous Buccaneers fought with one eye?
They also had a whole crew with them.
And it was for rum.
Yeah, I say run it back, and they are running it back.
Long live Sailor Jerry.
Was
he a pirate?
No, he was a sailor, though.
Was he?
Yeah.
He's an artist.
Merchant. Yeah, he was one of the very first tattoo artists.
Okay.
He was a merchant marine. Anyway, yeah, they are running it back. UFC Boston, this is going down. The rematch is official. I'm happy for him. I hope they get to finally settle this and they can both stop bitching.
Do it.
We have 2 fights coming up. We have Bellator tonight, and this is going to be on the DAZN. DAZN, I know.
The one thing I'm not spending money on.
Still haven't spent the money on it?
No.
This is going to be the Featherweight Grand Prix first round. Also included in this Featherweight Grand Prix first round is going to be a championship fight, which is pretty cool. And for the first time on a major promotion, I know this has happened regionally somewhere, so don't yell at me in the fucking comments.
Right.
In a major promotion, the first time ever a father and son are on the same card.
Yeah.
So you got main card. Obviously, you got on the lower card there quite a bit of people, and then you got the main card. I'm not going through all that, man.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of fucking people. Daniel Winchell going up against Saul Rogers, Darren Caldwell going up against Henry Corrales, and AJ McKee going up against Gregory Karakarian, and all 3 of those are going to be first round Grand Prix featherweight for Bellator. Antonio McKee also on this card. There's your father's son. Middleweight rematch from back in. When did these guys fight? This was a long time ago. Right there, 2014. We're having Lyoto Machida versus Gegard Mousasi Deuce. This is a good fight, man. I'm excited for both these guys.
And again, like I said to you earlier, and I don't mean this in any crass or messed up way to say that he needs it, but I believe that there's more supplementation that's open to Lyoto at this point in his career that he can get away with in Bellator than he could in the UFC.
For sure. I think the testing is much more stringent in the UFC.
I think Gegard Mousasi is going to be very surprised at what comes at him.
This fight is going down at middleweight. The first time they fought, Gegard Mousasi was returning to middleweight back in 2014, where he had fought at 205. He says he didn't take the fight seriously. He didn't take the whole thing seriously. He just didn't train as well as he should have, and he knows that now. He did lose a unanimous decision. It wasn't like it was a big thing.
This is when they were riding the high, and he was joking about drinking the pee, and right.
Who, Lyoto?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I know Gegard. He don't shoot pee, but anyway.
No, he just owns property.
Yeah,
you remember
and
his brother
shakes people down when they don't pay rent.
They don't pay the rent. A bunch of college kids. Lyoto Machida. Again, this is at middleweight. Lyoto Machida was over at 205 for a while, wasn't he?
I thought he did 170, 185, and 205.
No, I don't think 170, but I know he did 205.
Okay.
And then you got your main event, Patricio Freire going up against Juan Archuleta. Again, this is part of the Featherweight World Grand Prix first round. This is also for the Featherweight Championship.
So out of 5 fights, we've got 6 ex-UFC fighters. Caldwell was a UFC fighter, no?
I'm pretty sure. AJ
McKee, Lyoto, Gegard, and Freire, right?
Was AJ in the UFC?
Gotta look it up. Nope.
Nope. Always in Bellator.
Always in Bellator. Okay.
Maybe the other. Antonio McKee was definitely in.
Well, I'm just going on the main card.
Yeah.
So 4 out of the 10 fighters are ex-UFC fighters.
I believe so. Yeah. Anyway. Yep.
All right.
Pretty cool. Get it over on DAZN. Yeah, and then we also have UFC Fight Night Hermansensen versus Cannonier. UFC Fight Night 160. UFC on ESPN Plus 18. UFC Fight Night Copenhagen. Somebody redid this poster with Legos because apparently Legos are from Denmark.
If you can find it, look it up.
It's pretty cool.
It's an awesome cover. We don't have it this week. We're
a little behind.
We're gonna get everything worked out. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Anyway, we got on your prelim card over there on ESPN Plus. You got Jack Shore against Nohelin Hernandez, Lando Venata against Mark DeCase, Macy Chiasson against Lena Landsberg, Brandon Davis against Jija Chickadays.
Okay, and then it's the Slyar. I don't know how to.
Sahir Badahazura.
Yeah, now I hear
against Ismail Nureyev.
Don't get drinks or popcorn during this fight.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Sahir.
Yeah,
Alessio De Chikuro against Mahakamid Muradov and Alan Amedovsky against Jan Phillips.
I wonder if you really pronounce it Alan.
Back on your main card, still on ESPN Plus, Nicholas Dalby going up against Alex Oliveira. Michael Oleksiejczuk. I can way too many vowels, sir.
So what's the times on this?
Is going against OSP. When is this going to be taking place?
Yeah, I'm just wondering because it's in Denmark if it's going to start. If we're going to watch it on
a weird time here in the United States. I don't know how to look that up.
Look it up.
Ion Cutabella going up against Kyle Roundtree. Gunnar Nelson against Gilbert Burns.
God, Gunnar just won't go away.
Mark Madsen against Daniel Beraldo. And your main event for who is the underdog, dark horse, possible title contender in the future at middleweight in the UFC. I think that's what this fight represents.
Either way,
Jack Hermanson against Jared Cannonier.
Both guys need a lot of work.
I'm excited for this fight, though.
Yeah, I mean it's good for one of them to get a little bit further ahead, but both guys need more work before they're serious contenders in the middleweight.
But I think that they are the dark horse again. I think this fight will determine who is going to be the next guy coming through the ranks to fight for the title at middleweight. That is my personal opinion. Good luck to both of them.
Huh.
And that is it. And then you, my friend, went to beatdown 209, 209 beatdown?
209 beatdown 10 happened this last weekend.
Last weekend here in Modesto?
Yeah, here in Modesto.
And you and Pixels got to go to this. Shout out to Nick.
Yeah, shout out to Nick. Let me clear this up real quick.
Bring it all up there.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to get the slide out of the way so you can see Pixels shirts.
MMA Pixels.
These are available. Get a hold of MMA Pixels. And if you're on YouTube, this is where you get a hold of them. You don't see it now because we don't do the cool graphics on there yet. We just don't have it worked out. But anyway, so to get it off, we had Benjamin Hill against Anthony Medina. Benjamin Hill wins by third round doctor stoppage. This is the weirdest thing ever. So they made it out of the second round, and Anthony looks a little winded and then faints at his seat.
Passes out?
Like passes out at his seat. The doctor sees it, goes and talks to him, stops it.
So wait.
So basically, they called it on the third round saying that he couldn't answer the bell, but he was told by the doctor that it was over. I know it's weird.
But usually they would call it on the third. It'd be like, whatever it is, 5 minutes.
He couldn't answer. Basically, they say
couldn't get off the stool.
Couldn't get off the stool.
Okay.
But he was told by the doctor he couldn't get
off the stool. He didn't get an opportunity. But if he saw him pass out on the stool, you can't get on the stool. So my question is, did the doctor go in and look at him and then walk away and see him pass out, or did the doctor watching cage side go, I'm pretty sure he just passed out on his stool?
Yeah, no. I'm sitting right next to the doctor, and we both watch the same thing, and the doctor pops up immediately once the cage door opens and goes right over, talks to him, and then I don't want to say he cried, but he was just like, no, and the doctor's like, no, I watched you pass out. I seen what happened, and so we're done. So anyway, that was that fight. Then we had Josh Scott take on Gary Helm. Josh Scott wins first round submission. Then we had Andrew Chan beats Charles King. This is a great fight. Charles King comes in 0-1. This is his debut. Goes 3 rounds against Tran, but Tran wins the unanimous decision. Then we have Mark Martinez get the unanimous decisions against Luen Yu. And then Temujin, we just call him Uzi. Uzi wins by TKO against Sujiro Kano. And then we had Rocky Bantam KOs Jawan Jackson. Daniel Singleton gets a majority decision against Daniel Marino. It was a really active fight. Both these guys were swinging for the fences, man. That's the best thing about watching a lot of these guys. They're like 1-1 or 1-2.
They're going for it, man. They want to make a name for themselves because they want another fight. And they want to be able to get seen by somebody eventually to move up.
And in California Amateur, it's only 2-minute rounds. Oof. So, I mean, you can't play around with any of the time that you have.
3 2-minute rounds?
3 2-minute rounds, unless it's a title or a main, and then it's 3 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
But
that's not a lot of time,
you don't have a lot of time.
Throw.
Yeah, so the ground game, if you have ground game, you'll take it there. But otherwise, everybody tries to keep it standing up. And then we had Freddie Rodriguez gets the unanimous decision over Solomon Villari. And then Isaac Kiyokata gets the unanimous decision over James Delsid. Carl Mitchell gets the third round submission over Victor Flores. Again, huge active fight. We're used to seeing big kicks from Carl, but he had to take it to the ground and then he had to submit him, man. And he worked really hard for it. And then Juarez gets a split decision over Raul Godinez. And then the very last fight was a heavyweight, or what they call cruiserweight around here. Jason Fonzie against Henry Gomez. Henry Gomez just recently won the title for the cruiserweight for Beatdown 209. Jason Fonzie wins by submission because they had both beat each other to the point where it was like the only guy who could get his arms together and squeeze somebody, that's who won. But I mean,
so does he win the belt?
Yeah, Jason Fonzie got the belt.
Okay. Question: cruiserweight here. We're talking 208 to 235.
205.1 to 230.
Okay, so yeah, that's good.
That was there's a couple things like their welterweight is 155 to 170.
Technically 156 should be.
Right. So one of the, I think it was the Carl Mitchell Flores fight. They literally were 15 pounds difference.
Wow.
And you can see the difference.
Wow.
You know?
When's the next time 209 Beatdown's having an event? Do we know yet?
The next one I think is either November 21st or November 16th.
So next month.
Next month.
Still here in Modesto?
No. Next month is October.
Next month is October. So 2 months away.
2 months away.
Still here in Modesto. Right on. And you can go to 209beatdown.com.
209beatdown.com. MMA Pixels also has the information. Perfect. MMA Pixels is on YouTube and Facebook. And I think we even have a link on our website, SplitDecisionMMA.com.
Yeah. He's our local representative.
Yeah, he's our regional dude.
Does his thing, man.
And it's getting cooler and cooler because like nobody knows us, you know, in the regional thing. But when we show up, it's like they're like, "Oh, can I help you?" And I was like, "I'm waiting for my guy," you know. I'm waiting for my guy. And then Nick shows up and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Come on, Nick, show me where we're at. Show me where we're at." Nick gets in there, he handles the business.
He knows what he's doing.
He's doing it.
Well, right on, man. Which one gave you the blood? All of them? Couple of them?
I'm trying to remember which one got the blood all over us. I'm thinking the
couple fights got a little bloody.
I think it's the Solomon Rodriguez fight is the one that got pretty bloody on us. But there was a few of them. You know what I mean? These guys, like you say, they're trying to get into the next fight.
Yep.
And a lot of these guys, they tell you, they're like, "Well, I had somebody contact me about going pro," and I never realized the risk of, because like once you go pro,
can't go back.
You can't go back.
Can't go back. That's why a lot of guys, in my personal opinion, if you're out there and you're an amateur fighter, stay in the amateurs for a little while.
As long as you can.
As long as you can.
Until you feel that you've outgrown
the amateur scene.
Right.
For sure. But I think that you need to really build yourself and then move into pro. Because a lot of these
just
guys
to make
get
sure
thrown
that
in a little too early, I think.
To make sure that you've taken on every different style of fight that you could take. Because, I mean, even at the pro level, we're seeing some of these guys get in there with a big head on their shoulders. And
get chopped down.
Waking up in the back room, you know.
Well, that's it. That is your week of fights. We are brought to you always by MyMMAnews.com.
I gotta bring up our slide.
We do this once a week. They do this every single day, 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. Big shout out to our good buddy over there, Eric. Also,
and I can say we because we're part of it.
Yeah,
we're like huge, dude. We're huge.
Us?
No, My MMA News.
Oh, My MMA News.
That's what I'm saying. We. But I mean, we're something.
Man, we got a little something. Something.
We co-sign.
Of course,
on some
we've
stuff.
got a Walkie Craft. Go over to on Etsy. Go to Walkie Craft. Get yourself a big giant bottle opener and a man card. Also, Dependable Solutions. If you take credit card for your business that are looking to reevaluate that business, have them do a test, and they can find out if they can save you up to 75% of your credit card taking business. Knock down your fees. Get yourself right. And then, as always, brought to you here by SynCal in SynCal Studios here in Modesto, California. If you need tattoos or piercings or piercing jewelry.
Yeah, or if you want to come look at some
they have the
smoking,
new glass shop.
They
That's
have
right.
Glass
They have SynCal Glass is back
smoking
open.
Smoking paraphernalia.
Get yourself some medication
supplies. Yeah.
Actually, no, it's pretty much recreational.
Recreational.
Once recreational. Yeah, I got a little bit of everything. Anyway, have a good night, and we'll see you in fights.